Malady as noun, a disorder or ailment of the body or mind, an abnormal or unhealthy condition. The flu is a common malady that afflicts many people each year. The doctor diagnosed her with a rare malady that would require immediate treatment. The malady of alcoholism has devastating effects on both the individual and their loved ones. The malady of poverty affects millions of people around the world. The persistent cough was just one symptom of her mysterious malady. Maverick as noun, an independent person who does not conform to established norms or rules, and is often seen as unorthodox or non-conventional. An unbranded animal, especially a calf, that is not under the control of any particular owner. He's known as a maverick in the political arena, often taking positions that defy party lines. The CEO was a maverick who made bold decisions that led the company to success. She's a maverick in the world of fashion, constantly pushing boundaries. The artist was a maverick in his field, creating work that was both unconventional and groundbreaking. The athlete was a maverick who refused to conform to the traditional training methods. Misanthrope as noun, a person who dislikes or distrusts humankind and avoids human society, someone who holds a negative attitude towards others and is cynical about human nature. Despite her outwardly friendly demeanor, she was secretly a misanthrope. He was known to be a misanthrope and rarely interacted with others. The character in the play was a misanthrope who despised all of humanity. Many people mistakenly believe that misanthropes are simply introverted or shy. The famous philosopher was often described as a misanthrope due to his pessimistic views on human nature. Mordant as noun, a substance used in dyeing to fix the dye onto the fabric and make it resistant to fading or washing. The chemist studied the properties of mordants. The mordant is used in the textile industry to dye fabrics. The artist used a mordant to etch the design onto the metal plate. The printer used a mordant to make the ink adhere to the paper. The archaeologist found evidence of ancient mordant use in the ruins. Presentiment as noun, a feeling or impression that something, especially something bad, is going to happen. An intuitive feeling or instinct about future events or circumstances. The traveler had a presentiment that something was wrong with his flight, which turned out to be delayed. The mother had a presentiment that her child was in danger and rushed to the playground to find them hurt. The actor had a presentiment that he would get the part in the movie, which turned out to be true. The athlete had a presentiment that she would break the world record, which she did the following day. The investor had a presentiment that the stock market would crash, which he acted on and saved his fortune. Soporific as noun, a sleep-inducing agent such as a sedative or hypnotic, a substance or drug that induces sleep or drowsiness. She took a soporific to help her fall asleep. The doctor prescribed a soporific for his patient's insomnia. The soporific had a calming effect on her anxiety. The soporific was effective in treating his chronic pain. The use of soporifics in the treatment of mental illness is controversial. Sybarite as noun, a person who indulges in sensual pleasures and luxuries, a person who is devoted to luxury and pleasure. The billionaire was a sybarite who enjoyed only the finest things in life. After living in a tent for months, the traveler felt like a sybarite when he checked into the luxurious hotel. The restaurant catered to sybarites with its expensive menu and elegant decor. The writer's depiction of the sybarites in ancient Rome painted them as decadent and debauched. The young actress was accused of being a sybarite when she demanded a private trailer on set. Temperance as noun, abstinence from alcohol or other substances that have the potential to be addictive or harmful. moderation or self-restraint in behavior, especially in regards to alcohol or other vices. The religious order vows to live a life of temperance, abstaining from all worldly pleasures. The doctor advised her patient to practice temperance in his diet and exercise routine. The community center hosted a workshop on the importance of temperance in maintaining a healthy lifestyle. The temperance movement of the late 19th century aimed to curb the consumption of alcohol in American society. The politicians spoke about the need for temperance in government spending, arguing for fiscal responsibility and restraint. Travail as noun, painful or laborious effort, hard work or toil, suffering or distress, especially in childbirth. The woman went through great travail during childbirth. The artist's creative process was full of travail and struggle. The construction workers endured many long hours of travail to finish the project on time. The political campaign was marked by the candidates' travail to gain support. The team's travail to come back from a large deficit resulted in a thrilling victory. Travesty as noun, a false, absurd, or distorted representation of something, a grotesque or ridiculous imitation of something. The trial was a travesty of justice. The new building was a travesty of the surrounding architecture. The CEO's management style was a travesty of effective leadership. The political debate was a travesty of rational discourse. The comedian's act was a travesty of good taste. Calumny as noun, a false and defamatory statement made about someone, the act of making false and defamatory statements in order to damage someone's reputation. The politician's opponents spread calumnies about them to damage their reputation. The employee was fired for spreading calumnies about their co-workers to management. The lawyer's accusations against the witness were calumnies with no basis in fact. The rumor that the actor was involved in a scandal was a calumny, with no evidence to support it. The lawsuit was filed in response to a calumny made by the defendant that caused harm to the plaintiff's reputation. Decimation as noun, the destruction or killing of a large part of a population or group, the reduction of something by a large amount or by a substantial proportion. The decimation of the rainforest has had a devastating impact on the planet's biodiversity. The army suffered decimation after the surprise attack by the enemy. The company's profits took a hit after the decimation of their sales team. The decimation of the bee population is causing concern among environmentalists. The pandemic has led to the decimation of small businesses in many industries. Effrontery as noun, arrogance or audacity in violating social norms or rules, impudence or boldness in offending others. The politician's effrontery knew no bounds, as she made promises she had no intention of keeping. I couldn't believe his effrontery when he asked me to lend him money after not speaking to me for years. The customer had the effrontery to demand a refund, even though he had clearly damaged the product himself. The actress had the effrontery to arrive 3 hours late to the shoot, holding up the entire production. The student's effrontery in copying another's work, without even attempting to change it, earned him a failing grade. Egotist as noun, a person who is excessively self-centered and obsessed with their own interests, abilities, and achievements, someone who thinks highly of themselves and displays an exaggerated sense of self-importance. The athlete's egotism was so extreme that she refused to take part in team events and always insisted on being the center of attention. The CEO was a notorious egotist, taking credit for the company's successes and blaming others for its failures. The author's work was often criticized for being too self-centered, leading some to label him an egotist. His constant bragging and self-promotion earned him the reputation of being an egotist among his peers. The politician was accused of being an egotist for putting his own interests ahead of those of his constituents. Iconoclast as noun, a person who attacks or undermines traditional religious icons or political institutions, a person who challenges established beliefs or institutions. The artist was considered an iconoclast for his unconventional approach to art. The writer was seen as an iconoclast for her controversial opinions. The scientist was an iconoclast who challenged traditional theories. The rebel leader was an iconoclast who fought against the established government. The politician's ideas were often considered iconoclastic. Malapropism as noun, a speech error in which an absurd or incongruous word is used in place of a similar sounding word. The act of using an incorrect word in place of a similar sounding word, often with humorous effect. Her frequent use of malapropisms during her speeches made her the subject of ridicule among her colleagues. In the play, the character's malapropisms provided much-needed comic relief. He often confused similar-sounding words, resulting in unintentional malapropisms that left his audience puzzled. The politician's malapropism during the televised debate became an instant viral sensation on social media. The newspaper column was filled with malapropisms and grammatical errors, much to the dismay of the editor. Malfeasance as noun, improper or illegal conduct, especially by a public official or person in a position of trust, wrongdoing or misconduct, especially in a public office or position of trust. The company's malfeasance was exposed in a series of investigative reports that revealed illegal practices and corruption. The politician was forced to resign after being accused of malfeasance in office. The lawyer's malfeasance in handling the client's case resulted in a lawsuit against him. The police officer was fired for his malfeasance in conducting an illegal search. The CEO's malfeasance caused the company to go bankrupt, leaving thousands of employees without jobs. Martinet as noun, a person who strictly adheres to rules and regulations and enforces them harshly. The new boss was a real martinet, always insisting on strict adherence to company policies and procedures. The drill sergeant was known as a martinet, pushing his soldiers to their physical limits in order to toughen them up. The headmistress was a real martinet, enforcing strict rules on dress code, punctuality, and behavior in her school. The orchestra conductor was a martinet, demanding absolute precision and perfection from his musicians, even during long and grueling rehearsals. The coach was a martinet when it came to training, pushing his athletes to work harder and longer than they ever thought possible. Mulct as noun, a financial penalty or payment required as a result of a legal judgment or settlement, a fine or penalty imposed as a punishment for a wrongdoing or offense. The judge imposed a heavy mulct on the defendant for his crimes. The city imposed a mulct on businesses that violated zoning regulations. The insurance company paid a mulct for failing to provide adequate coverage to its clients. The union threatened to impose a mulct on the company if they did not agree to the workers' demands. The landlord imposed a mulct on tenants who violated the terms of their lease. Parvenu as noun, a newcomer to a higher social class who is regarded as being uncultured or ill-mannered, a person who has recently acquired wealth, status, or power and is considered to be lacking in social graces. The parvenu was shunned by the old money families at the charity ball. The nouveau riche couple felt like parvenus in the exclusive country club. The parvenu's flashy clothes and jewelry were seen as gauche by the aristocracy. The young actress, a parvenu in Hollywood, struggled to fit in with the established stars. The parvenu businessman's attempts to impress his colleagues often fell flat.
Level up your English. Master vocabulary, idioms, and phrasal verbs with fun quizzes. Translate meanings into 104 languages. Download now. Link in the description. Please like and subscribe to our channel.